Welcome to our deep dive on maintaining visa application integrity for B1/B2 visitor visas. Today, we will focus on how to navigate DS-160 changes during long wait times and employment shifts. To begin, we will set the context, then move into the DS-160 update mandate, followed by sponsorship strategy and handling employment gaps. Finally, we will address partner-related scrutiny and close with key takeaways.
Let's transition to the agenda. First, we will set the stage with context and stakes. Next, we will examine the DS-160 update mandate and what triggers an update. Then, we will compare sponsorship strategies. After that, we will examine employment gaps and heightened consular scrutiny. Subsequently, we will discuss the partnership factor. We will also cover a document checklist, summarize key points, and test your understanding with a couple of quizzes. Now let's move on to the overview. Because interview dates often fall months after submission, applicants frequently experience changes in employment, finances, or travel plans. Consequently, the DS-160 must match your current reality at the time of the consular interview. If you do not update it, even if the original filing was accurate, you risk a denial due to misrepresentation of current circumstances. With that in mind, let's proceed to the DS-160 update mandate. The central rule is simple. The DS-160 must reflect the applicant's current circumstances at the time of the interview. Material changes include but are not limited to job loss, transitions to self-employment, starting a new business, major income or funding changes, sponsor changes, or significant shifts in the trip's purpose or dates. When in doubt, it is better to submit a new DS-160 and link it to your appointment so that the barcode corresponds to the updated form. Always carry the latest confirmation page. Now that we understand the mandate, we will detail how to actually update and link the new DS-160. First, access the CS-160 portal and start a new application. Next, complete the form to fully capture your current employment, financial, and travel details. Then, save the application and record the new application ID. After submission, print the new confirmation page with the updated barcode. Subsequently, log in to the visa appointment portal and update your profile with the new DS-160 confirmation number. Finally, take both the old and new confirmation pages to the interview for reference, but expect that the consular officer will rely on the latest submission. With the process in hand, let's test your understanding with a quick quiz. Question: if your employment changed from a salaried corporate job to a new home-based business after submitting your DS-160, what should you do before the interview? Options: A. Keep the original DS-160 because it was accurate when filed. B. Submit a new DS-160 reflecting the new business and update your appointment profile. C. Only bring documents about the new business and explain verbally. D. Cancel the interview and wait 6 months to build business history. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section. The correct answer is to submit a new DS-160 reflecting the new business and update your appointment profile. This ensures the form aligns with your current situation, which is mandatory at the time of the interview. Now, with that clarified, let's transition to sponsorship strategy. When selecting between self-sponsorship and family sponsorship, prioritize the option that demonstrates stronger and more stable ties to your home country. Early-stage businesses, particularly those under a year old or home-based, are frequently perceived as irregular and insufficient to prove stable income. Conversely, a parent holding a long-term government or corporate position can be viewed as a more reliable source of financial stability. If you choose family sponsorship, provide robust documentation such as income proofs, asset evidence, and a formal affidavit of support. Next, let's compare the two approaches side by side. Self-sponsored applications are compelling when the applicant shows long-tenured, stable salaried employment, supported by payslips, tax returns, and employer letters. However, self-sponsorship becomes weaker when the income is from a new or irregular business. In contrast, family sponsorship can bolster the overall profile if the sponsor has strong, stable employment, reinforcing ties to the home country. This route requires the sponsor's financial documentation and a formal affidavit of support. Now that we have compared the options, we will present a quick documents checklist.
This checklist covers identity and travel documents such as the passport, DS-160 confirmation page, and appointment letter. Financial documents vary depending on whether you are self-sponsored or family-sponsored. If self-sponsored, include bank statements, tax returns, employer letters, and payslips. If family-sponsored, include the sponsor's payslips, bank statements, asset proofs, and an affidavit of support. For business owners, add registration certificates, bank statements, invoices, contracts, and capital investment evidence. To demonstrate ties to the home country, include property documents, leases, ongoing work contracts, academic enrollment letters, and family responsibility proofs. For the trip itself, include itineraries, conference invitations, and reservations when available.
With the checklist clear, let's visualize decision-making with a diagram.
This flowchart starts at waiting for the interview, then checks for material changes since filing. If there are changes, the path leads to filing a new DS-160 and updating the appointment barcode.
The next decision evaluates income stability.
Stable salaried income suggests self-sponsorship may be appropriate, whereas new or irregular business income suggests considering a family sponsor if available. All paths converge on collecting documentary evidence and arriving at the interview with the latest DS-160 confirmation page. If there are no material changes, the chart directs you to proceed with the original DS-160 after verifying details. Next, we will test your understanding with a scenario-based quiz. Question: Your parent holds a long-term government job. You recently started a 6-month-old home business with irregular income. Which funding choice is strategically stronger for your B1/B2 application? Options: A. Self-sponsored, highlighting new business income. B. Family-sponsored by your parent with full documentation. C. Either is fine, it does not matter. D. Self-sponsored but omit business details to avoid confusion. You may pause the video now to consider your answer. We will reveal the answer next. The correct answer is family-sponsored by your parent with full documentation. This strategy leverages stable, long-term employment to reinforce your economic ties to your home country, which is particularly helpful when your own business is new and income appears irregular. Next, let's address employment gaps and how to mitigate scrutiny. Consular officers begin with the presumption that a B1/B2 applicant may intend to immigrate. Stable employment is a central factor in rebutting this presumption. Conversely, a shift to a new and irregular business typically elevates scrutiny. To mitigate this, bring robust evidence such as business registration, bank statements with operating funds, proof of capital invested, invoices, signed contracts, and a schedule that demonstrates why your presence is required back home. Additionally, highlight commitments and obligations like deliveries, client meetings, property responsibilities, staff oversight, and upcoming appointments that necessitate your return. Next, let's visualize how time and events unfold between filing and the interview. This timeline shows the path from the initial DS-160 filing through intervening life events to the interview. At month 0, the DS-160 is filed. By month 2, a job change or new business might occur. In month 3, the applicant evaluates whether to update the DS-160. In month 4, documentary evidence is gathered, including sponsor proofs if applicable. By month 5, the appointment profile is updated with the new barcode. Finally, at month 6, the interview takes place, with the applicant bringing the latest confirmation page.
Now let's cover the partnership factor and its impact on risk. When a partner or close family member resides in the destination country, especially on a temporary status such as student or temporary worker, scrutiny increases. If your domestic ties are simultaneously weakened by job loss or a new, unstable business, the risk of denial rises further. To mitigate risk, emphasize independent reasons to return, such as significant work obligations, property management, academic commitments, family responsibilities, and scheduled events or deliveries. Present a clear and coherent narrative that emphasizes a short visit for a specific purpose and a compelling need to return. To bring these elements together visually, let's use a mind map. This mind map structures the primary categories that demonstrate ties to the home country: employment, business, finances, property, family, and commitments. Under employment, include a stable job and an employer letter. For business, emphasize registration, capital invested, and contracts. Financial ties involve bank statements and tax records. Property ties include ownership or a lease.
Family ties encompass dependents and caregiving obligations. Commitments include deadlines, deliveries, and scheduled appointments. Collectively, these elements help reduce perceived overstay risk. Next, let's quantify emphasis with a quick pie chart of decision weight factors. This pie chart illustrates typical emphasis areas in a B1, B2 assessment. Employment stability, financial evidence, property and family ties, trip purpose clarity, and the consistency between your DS-160 and supporting documents. While exact weights vary by case, the chart highlights where preparation can yield the strongest impact. Now, before we wrap up, here is a concise Markdown-style deep dive you can screenshot for quick recall. Here is a quick reference overview in Markdown style. The core rule is that your DS-160 must match interview day reality. Submit an updated form if material changes occur. For sponsorship, choose the option that shows stable, local financial roots, often a long-term employed parent. New businesses under a year with irregular income draw heightened scrutiny, so bring registration, bank evidence, contracts, and proof of invested capital. If you have a partner abroad, expect increased scrutiny and emphasize independent reasons to return. Finally, ensure consistency among your DS-160, your documents, and your interview answers. Now let's add a brief disclaimer before the wrap-up. Please note that this content is for educational purposes only and does not constitute legal advice. Immigration outcomes depend on individual facts and circumstances. You should consult a qualified immigration attorney or accredited representative for advice tailored to your situation. With that clarified, let's consolidate key points. These are the core takeaways. Update your DS-160 for any material change before the interview. Choose a sponsorship route that most clearly demonstrates stability, recognizing that early-stage business income is risky on its own. Document your financials, business legitimacy, and obligations to return. Anticipate heightened scrutiny if a partner resides abroad, and strengthen independent ties. And maintain strict consistency across your DS-160, documents, and interview responses. Now let's summarize the session and close out. In summary, ensure your DS-160 mirrors your circumstances on interview day, and relink your appointment with any new confirmation number. Choose a sponsorship strategy that emphasizes stability, often through a parent's long-term employment, when your own business is new. If self-employed, provide substantial documentary evidence and a clear narrative demonstrating your need to return. If a partner is abroad, expect higher scrutiny and highlight independent ties. Above all, keep your form, documents, and statements consistent. Finally, let's close with a thank you and a quick call to action. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more practical visa insights. In the comments, share your scenario or questions so we can address them in future videos. See you next time.